And, the very best in sport really understand this. They don't have a coach to empower them. They have a coach to remind them what their power is and remind them how good they are and remind them of the things that make them really good. And these are also important factors. And of course, to remind them of some of the basics that sometimes disappear when you're caught up in the heat of the moment and under pressure. So, today I'm going to talk about why I believe everybody needs a coach. I'm 226 episodes into this podcast now. Believe it or not, that's amazing. Just every single week. It's something that I set out to do, which is, can I actually put out a podcast every single week? And originally it was more about getting my thoughts across so that my grandchildren would kind of know what I thought about a lot of subjects. But now I'm interviewing people, and it's just grown into something that I really believe in, which is spreading the word that everybody does need a coach. And it's amazing. People say they love the podcast and ask me, do I still have a coach? Well, yes. I'm a bit of a sucker for this stuff. No, not really. But I'm very curious and always looking to improve. So yes, I have, two coaches at the moment, and even considered bringing on a third, because really and truthfully, what I do know is when you're inside the bottle, you can't see your own label, and we all need to get out of our own heads. And that's so important. So, the other thing, on firsthand experience, I've had a player that I was with and we were doing very, very well. And then he left because he felt that maybe he'd gotten as much from me as he thought he could. And then his ranking dropped. And 18 months later, he came back and then went on to much bigger success. It's not that, we need a coach because we don't know how to do things. We need a coach as a sounding board to get out of our own heads, to see the wood for the trees. And also, as we talk to a coach, we learn about ourselves, and the clarity that we need often comes from talking things through with somebody, and just the right question at the right time can shift your mind. So if you've been listening to this show and, something in you has shifted through something I've said or one of my guests has said, and you've really had a breakthrough, it'd be really good if you could share my podcast with others so they can experience the same thing, because that's how ripples start. And that's how people find a coach that really can help them. And, the very best in sport really understand this. They don't have a coach to empower them. They have a coach to remind them what their power is and remind them how good they are and remind them of the things that make them really good. And these are also important factors. And of course, to remind them of some of the basics that sometimes disappear when you're caught up in the heat of the moment and under pressure. A coach is a stabilizing force. So 226 episodes in, and I suppose in a way, I feel like I'm just getting started as I get used to all of this. And I think I'm starting to appreciate the mirror that a coach can hold up for you. And that's what, keeps me sharp. And I'm sure that's what can keep you sharp. So where I am. I work with execs, leaders, athletes, coaches, and it's a lot of fun. and we learn together. So, yeah, if you enjoy this, I'm sure if you haven't had a coach, that you'd really enjoy coaching. Nobody's telling you what to do. It's you finding out so much more about yourself. So, speak again in a few weeks.
Thanks for watching Locker Room Power with David Sammel. If you enjoyed the episode, hit subscribe and leave a comment on your favorite platform. See you in the next one.